Right, hello everyone, hope you're all well, hope you're all staying safe. In today's No Man's Sky video, and I know it has been a while since I've done an actual video, I want to look at the Origins update, give it a little review, give my opinions on it, and generally just talk about it. I'm not claiming for this to be some super professional, well put together review, but rather just some verbal diarrhea about what I think about Origins, as it is finally a variety update. This is very much the update which we have been waiting for since pretty much 2016. A variety update, as you know, if you have watched this channel for any long period of time or even short period of time, is something which I have really wanted, and I think the vast majority of the No Man's Sky community have also wanted. I am so glad to be finally sitting here reviewing a variation update for No Man's Sky, and it does make me incredibly excited for the future. This is something which I'm gonna make into another video because I have so much else to talk about, but fuck, Origins is a fantastic first step, and yeah, as I said, I am absolutely fucking incredibly ridiculously excited to see what Hello Games does next. So anyway, Origins was described by Hello Games as the update which focuses on breathing some new life and variety into the No Man's Sky universe. There were a few interviews done with Sean Murray, or I think maybe one or two. I say few like there's loads, I'm pretty sure it was just one. Or maybe two, I don't know. And he basically spoke about how he felt that before the Origins update, the universe of No Man's Sky was relatively untouched and in a lot of parts downgraded from what existed previously. And we knew this, you know, mostly because of the downgrades to terrain, to the colourful psychedelic aesthetic which the original No Man's Sky had. So this wasn't exactly news to us, but it was definitely nice to hear that Sean was aware that the variety side and the interesting sides of the universe was really lacking. So Origins, as a result, was an update which addressed exactly that. It aimed to make the universe of No Man's Sky a bit more exciting to explore, add some new stuff which we hadn't yet seen, and in general cater to the original appeal of No Man's Sky: exploration, walking into the unknown, and looking at things which no one else has seen before. And one of the best ways which Origins conveys this message is through the terrain. Origins has improved planetary terrain to such an extent, it sometimes blows my mind. I'm gonna be really fucking honest with you. We had this problem with previous versions of No Man's Sky, mostly since Next, where terrain was just a little bit more predictable than it would have been before. Maybe Atlas Rises actually was like the last time that No Man's Sky's terrain was truly interesting, but definitely from Next onwards, terrain turned into flat hills, there was less sharp edges, very predictable and also very safe. Origins completely chucks that out of the window, and we now have these crazy ass terrain formations which you can see in the gameplay footage. Now what is interesting to note is that all of this footage is unmodded, and this baffles me that I look at this footage, I see mountains that are this fucking tall, and I try and accept that this is just No Man's Sky now. This isn't some crazy bootleg terrain mod that you got off Nexus mods. This shit is vanilla, and damn, like I just cannot comprehend that. Hello Games really fucking outdid themselves here. Like, they really done well. This is exactly what we were asking for, and we knew that this stuff was possible because of mods, especially Rayrod, who is obviously working on his multiverse, and he's showcasing how powerful the engine for No Man's Sky is, and Hello Games just weren't utilising it. But you can see here that they finally started to utilise it. I have been on some truly incredible planets, some of which even resemble places in real life, like the really tall mountains of Vietnam with grass going all up them, water flowing through them, snowy mountains that are really sharp and almost resemble pre-release trailers, and then also flat barren landscapes, desert planets with little dunes, little humps and hills, and very intimate and cozy areas which we had lost before. I think a big problem with No Man's Sky's previous generation was that it was all open. You could pretty much see all of the planet. You know, if you went up onto a hill, you could see it was more hills and hills and hills and hills. There was no kind of ravines, there was no smaller, bit more intimate areas. You just did not have that. This is now a reality though, and it's difficult to describe just how incredible it is to play with, because I think where people are saying that Origins doesn't include new gameplay for No Man's Sky, I think that they're wrong, because you can clearly see that this terrain is difficult. It's hard to traverse, and especially for new players, it's going to be a hell of a challenge than walking over the same flat, predictable hills. And also, you gotta think it makes Exocraft a lot more viable. Now where you have these crazy generational planets, you need an Exocraft, because on-foot exploration feels very slow, and you feel small, and you feel insignificant, and that is exactly what I loved about No Man's Sky's original appeal. So Origins stays true to its name by very much returning to that. And as a nice welcome surprise, Origins also includes an overhauled weather system. Damn, like I don't know where to begin. For a start, the cloud rendering tech has been improved to mostly resemble what was shown in the next trailers. I know that Cloud Guy is still not happy with that on Twitter, but the clouds look good, and they look good since Next, but definitely a bit pixelated and iffy at times. But Origins completely solves it. There are now more clouds for storms, whereby the sunlight is, you know, kind of shrouded by the clouds. There's almost like a bit of a glow coming behind it. Storm clouds, you got lightning, tornadoes, firestorms, comets that crash into the planet. Like, hello? Like, what? Again, coming back to the whole idea that it baffles me that this shit is vanilla. You know, weather systems, and especially something like meteor strikes or volcanoes, which now exist as well. These were things which I spoke about in Community Feedback Friday in like 2017. You know, and even way back then when we were talking about this kind of stuff, I never believed it was gonna happen. But fucking Hello Games, they just know what to do, and this whole weather system, massive surprise. Genuinely like one of the best surprises I think that have ever come out of No Man's Sky. Really does help with immersion, provides a load of gameplay as well, adds a bit of danger. You know, getting struck by lightning is actually hella dangerous, like who would have guessed, but it is super dangerous. Yeah, the weather system is amazing, storms are a lot more interesting and a lot more varied, and you know, the general consensus is that this is going to be amazing in the future as well. This is hopefully the first step to something which is going to be a lot more extensive, and you know, maybe weather is going to be a side effect of that. So when talking about immersion as well, I do also want to talk about a really precise fix, but it's one that has made me incredibly happy, and that is the artificial intelligence of specifically birds. Birds now fly like the smoothest way possible. Birds in No Man's Sky for some reason before pretty much flew around in a very close circle. They didn't really go anywhere, and they were kind of just going up and down a bit zigzaggy. You know, birds don't fly like that, obviously. They have been fixed with Origins, and they are now buttery smooth. They do kind of stay in the same location, but they glide, you know, they fly. They don't just dart around like some really confused model that's just been placed in. They have like a fairly basic path, and they look really good when doing so. In fact, they look really similar to the E3 bird AI, and they fly quite low as well. I've seen them nearly touching water in some places, and they really just add to that feeling that the planet is alive and it's not just this big jumble of models that have been chucked in. It feels very cohesive. And again, it really does play into this whole idea that Origins is like the immersion update. As well as variety, it's very much an immersion update. And moving on to something which I really do want to talk about, old school filters. So this is something which has been spoken about for a bit of time now. And you know, a couple years back, we had this big debate about the aesthetic of No Man's Sky. How I myself and plenty of other people in the No Man's Sky community enjoyed the original No Man's Sky aesthetic, you know, that very psychedelic, colourful, classic sci-fi look, which we did lose with 1.3 and subsequently Next. Next was the one that just shat on it completely. No Man's Sky turned into this strange kind of realistic looking game with muted colours and very believable visuals. It was incredibly believable and very standard. I don't know why the aesthetic was ever changed in the first place, maybe to appeal to a wider audience, I'm not sure. But the point is, we had this massive debate about which is better, you know, were the original colours better or were the modern colours better? Again, surprisingly, Origins completely fucking fixes this. Origins has brought in the ability to discover planets from pretty much every era of No Man's Sky. Putting aside the original terrain generation, you know, the jagged 1.0 vanilla generation, which I don't think anyone has found and I don't think it's in the game, but aesthetic wise, I have found multiple planets already, one of which is uploaded as a video, which have the original 1.0 vanilla No Man's Sky look. It has those really strange pastel-y purples, yellows, all of those lovely colours. So yes, you can find planets now that pretty much have the old school No Man's Sky look, and the 1.0 planet as well, which I found, which again, plugging it, it's up on my channel, has the original flora. It has that old, really high kind of 2D grass, which looks kind of dog, but also really reminiscent of early No Man's Sky days. And Hello Games haven't even said this. They did not even say this in their Origins development patch notes thing, whatever. Like, that is a complete surprise. And fuck, it really adds to this sense that there is new stuff out there. And I really do get the feeling like Hello Games have put a load into Origins which they just haven't told us, like these old 1.0 filtered planets. Maybe there's even more out there. I mean, there's sandworms out there, for fuck's sake. They're really rare, but you can find sandworms now. So who's to say that you can't find some crazy 1.0 terrain planet? You don't know. But yeah, this ties in with my final point as well, in the fact that the Origins really does improve that sense of exploration. In fact, I wouldn't even use the adjective improve. I would say revived. Origins has definitely got out these pair of defibs, just fucking rubbed them together, cleared it, and just pounded the heart of No Man's Sky's exploration. Risen from the dead like some kind of fucking walking corpse, but it's not a corpse because it's like a fully grown, healthy 20-year-old male, because it is fucking amazing. That unpredictable feeling of No Man's Sky is finally here, something which we lost, as I said so many times already. I don't even find myself now outside of streams scanning a planet and choosing not to land on it because I know what it's going to look like. I have absolutely zero inclination to do that in the slightest, because I want to land on every planet, because I feel like every planet is going to be different. And especially with, say, finding the 1.0 planets, every planet could be a 1.0 planet. It isn't labelled as one. It's not given to you that that is a vanilla aesthetic planet or that it has sandworms or lightning. That's down to you. And Hello Games, seriously, like a little heart to heart here, thank you so fucking much, because that is the best way of doing it. You're not telling us everything. You're leaving it as a mystery, as something which we need to find ourselves, and it keeps us exploring, it keeps us on our toes, and fuck, like, this is exactly what I wanted from No Man's Sky for the past 3 to 4 years. I'm so happy with Origins. You know, I've been streaming way more than I usually do, mostly because I'm back at uni, but also because it's just good. It's just a great fucking update. And truly, I know I'm rambling so hard, but like, I have never felt this optimistic and excited about No Man's Sky. I said in one of my streams the other day that I have this feeling of excitement which I haven't had since I was like a child. You know, when you used to get a new game and every morning you'd wake up and be excited to spend the day playing. You know, that game was Battlefield 4 for me. Battlefield 4 on the Xbox One back in 2013, that was the game I got excited for. In 2020, at the age of 20 years old, No Man's Sky is the game which I wake up in the morning and I'm fucking gassed, which, in case you don't know what it means, fucking excited to play. Entirely devoid of any kind of obligations to do the washing up or to go and get my shopping. I'm like, get fucked. No Man's Sky. And shit, it makes me happy to sit here and say this. And I hope you can hear in my voice how excited and how relieved I am that Hello Games are finally delivering on the fucking V word. It makes me happy that we now have a Viagra update for No Man's Sky. Alright guys, I'm going to end it there because I know I've been rambling and you probably don't want to hear me talking about shit which has no relation to Origins in the slightest, but regardless, I hope you enjoyed. As always guys, if you did enjoy, please do feel free to check out my Discord server and my Patreon. Also do feel free to leave a like on the video and plug in some other stuff and blah 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 blah. Hope you guys enjoyed. I love you all so much and I will see you very shortly. Take care. See you all soon. Love you all.